Hey, what's going on, guys? Casual speedrunning here. Today I'm going to be bringing us a bit of a different video. I'm going to be doing some commentary for my most recent world record that I just got last night. For those of you that didn't see the video, I got the world record in TJoC story mode, any percent, aka survival mode, and I did it in 42 minutes and 35 seconds, which is over a minute faster than the current, well, I should say previous world record now, after it gets verified. So yeah, I beat it by a significant amount. You guys will see once this run is verified that I'll hold the record by actually pretty decent amount, which is pretty insane for my first completed run of survival mode, aka any percent. But yeah, the reason for this video today is because after getting the run, I realized that my mic was actually shut off the whole time. You guys might have noticed at the end of the last video, at the very end, that I kind of turned my mic on and realized. And I had been commentating like my tips and strats and all that throughout the run last night, so this video is kind of making up for what was lost there. I'm going to be breaking down some of my tips and strats for each level, kind of going over what works for me and how you can effectively beat each level if you're just playing through it casually, or even in survival mode. So let's just go right into it. Let's see, where do we start the run? Right here. Yeah, so survival mode. So it is one of the challenges once you beat all 5 levels. So you have to survive each level of story mode from beginning to end without stopping. So yeah, there's no pausing the game in there, there's no cutscenes, and as soon as you die, the challenge is over and you have to restart. So even if you get all the way to Attic, which happened to me several times before this run, even if you get to Attic and you just make a mistake in Attic and die, you just have to restart the whole thing even though you're 40-some minutes into the run already. And yeah, I had that happen quite a few times before this run, so I was accustomed to it, but finally got a good Attic here, and it was a really good Attic for me. Like, I think it was actually my first sub 5 Attic as well, which was insane, considering the pace I was on at a basement. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the run. So of course, we're going to be starting with bedroom. We do the levels in order. Kind of makes sense. So we start in bedroom, and the main thing for bedroom is just literally just staring at your lamp. And that's what a lot of the time is going to be spent doing during bedroom. I'm not 100% sure if looking around the room actually affects it or not, like looking at a different part of the room, but I like to stare at the lamp just to kind of have that light in my field of vision, and just to make sure that little Nicky doesn't get too crazy before 6 a.m. Because the longer the light's off, the worse it becomes for our boy here. So there's some sound cues right away, and this is kind of how to deal with each animatronic. So the small knock you heard first there was Freddy. So after you hear that small knock, it'll be about 5 seconds or so before he gets to your window there, and then there will be another sound cue indicating that he's at your window. And what you do there is you just close your curtains until he goes away, till that other sound cue comes up. And then those other knocks you heard, the two kind of double knocks there, that's Bonnie. And that's why I named my first split there Two Fakes Than Real. And yeah, that is the reason for that. So for Bonnie, he'll knock 3 times. That he has a pattern of 3 times. So the first double knock will be a fake one. He won't burst through your door. The second one will also be a fake one, which you would have heard there, the last one. But then the next one will be a real one. He'll burst through your door and be in your room then. So that's the pattern to kind of keep track of. So 2 fake knocks, then a real knock, and that pattern never breaks. It'll always be 2 fakes and a real. And so hearing those 2 fake knocks, I know this next one's going to be real. I think it comes here pretty shortly, if I remember correctly. So yeah, here's the real one. You have to sit down, turn off your light, and as long as your light's off and you're sitting down, Bonnie won't deal you any issues. So there's Freddy. A nice thing about Freddy and Bonnie is they'll never appear at the same time. Well, they won't appear at the exact same time. You might get kind of one where they just overlap ever so slightly, but it won't be like, oh yeah, Freddy's at your window and Bonnie's in. Like, you might hear one of Bonnie's fake knocks while Freddy's at your window, but that's about it. And also for Chica there, you really wouldn't have seen her there, but you heard that kind of creaky door open. That's Chica, and just as long as you have your light off, Chica won't harm you in any way. You don't even have to be looking at her or anything. You don't have to sit down. You just have to have the light off. You can even just stare at the lamp, at the dark lamp, and you'll be fine. So yeah, there's the closet door. I'm just staring at the dark lamp, and it'll be fine. Chica will leave you alone. Just as long as the light's off. That's the main thing for Chica. If your light's on, she doesn't like that. You can be sitting down, standing up, whatever. Just as long as the light's off. I guess it's the same thing with Bonnie, just making sure the light's off, but that time you have to be sitting down. So I heard the second fake knock there. Freddy's at the window. And the scraping you might have heard there about a minute before, that's Foxy. You'll see, I'm pretty sure you'll see his hook here pretty soon. So the indicator for Foxy is the scraping first, then about a minute later you'll see the hook appear above your crib there on the left hand side. So there's Chica. Like this, yeah, this is where I get comboed here. So I get Chica, there's Foxy's hook, but Chica doesn't like when you're sleeping. That's another thing, Chica doesn't like when you're sleeping. So I have to just wait for Chica to go away. I know I have to wait for her because then she'll just stun me and I'll be dead anyway. So I kind of had to have a bit of an awkward timing with Foxy there. I probably could have been dead there, honestly, if I'd waited just a second or two longer. But, or even if I'd looked into Foxy's eyes, maybe. I'm not exactly sure how that would have worked, but either way, I was pretty close to death there. I had to wait for Chica to go away before I could fall asleep. And so I caught the timing just in time with Foxy there. And he rustled pretty quickly. Generally, you might have to wait about 5 to 10 seconds while sleeping before Foxy goes away. The rustling is his sound cue that he's gone. I also got timinged with Bonnie there while I was lying down anyway, so that was actually pretty good for me. And then Freddy appeared right after there. So yeah, if you want a quick little how to deal with all 4 animatronics, watch that little part back. Or there's another instance here in about a minute where I have to deal with all 4 again. But yeah, it's generally the same thing for bedroom. It's just making sure you deal with each animatronic the proper way you're supposed to. I get a kind of nice timing here. Chica gets here first, so I can just shut off the light now. And then I don't have to worry about having to reach back and shut off the light while Freddy's at my window. So now Freddy's gone, and I heard Bonnie's second fake knock there. That's the thing you want to keep track of, is what knock Bonnie is on. Like how many more until it's the real one. Like if it's 2 more until the real one, 1 more, or it's the very next one. So in this case, it'll be the very next one that's real. So yeah, it'll come here pretty shortly. We heard Foxy scraping a little while ago there. So I know Foxy's hook's going to be appearing any time now. And you might start to notice little Nikki starting to shake a little bit. That's perfectly fine for this time. Generally, if you're starting to shake around 3 a.m., that's no issue. If it's any time before 3 a.m., that's a bit of a problem. So now here's Bonnie as a real one, and the hook at the same time. So Bonnie and Foxy came at the same time, which is nice for me, because I could deal with Foxy efficiently, and that also just coincidentally deals with Bonnie as well. And then Chica was already gone, so I didn't have to worry about her getting mad at me going to sleep or falling asleep. So there's another instance there. I had to deal with all 4 in succession. So that, and at the 4-minute mark, not of the video, of the live split timer. If you want to kind of know how to deal with animatronics getting there at the same time, there's your timestamps. But yeah, the rest is pretty straightforward. Little Nicky's heartbeat's starting to kind of spiral out of control a little bit, but yeah, just as long as your light's on most of the time, or as much as you can have it on, it's generally pretty fine. And so I hear Foxy scraping there. I heard one fake knock. And so that I kind of refer to as the big blink. I don't know if there's really a name for it, but as long as that kind of big blink happens sometime around 4 a.m. or even into 5 a.m., you're fine. If it happens before 4 a.m., there's definitely an issue. You're probably dead. But yeah, as long as it's sometime either in 4 a.m. or if you're really lucky, could get it at like early 5 a.m. But yeah, generally as long as it's 4 a.m. when that happens, it's fine. You won't be in too much of an issue. So yeah, there it's 5 a.m. So I got it late into 4 a.m., which was good. Kind of a standard, I think. So yeah, Chica and Freddy there at the same time. I could realistically turn the light on as soon as Chica leaves, but I know I should probably just hold the curtain for Freddy. Don't want to risk him getting in, even if that means having the light off a little bit longer. And so right here, you might be wondering why I turned off the light there, because Foxy really doesn't care if the light's on or off, just as long as you're sleeping. But the reason I shut off the light there for Foxy is because I knew Bonnie's next knock was going to be real, and so if I got caught while I was trying to sleep with the light on and Bonnie burst through the door in the middle of my sleep, I would have been dead. So I figured I'd shut the light off for Foxy, so then that case did not happen. It didn't happen there. Bonnie came right after Foxy left, so I got kind of lucky there, but I have had it happen before where I keep the light on, try to sleep Foxy away, but then Bonnie comes in at the same time and kills me. I've had that happen before, so I'll just make it a habit to kind of turn off the light if I'm ever in that situation, just to be safe. And so I know at this point, kind of my timestamp on the timer here is around a late 10:00x for me for when, or mid 10:00x for One Bedroom Ends. So I know at this point it's pretty much over. Probably won't have to deal with too much here. And so the level's over. And that's bedroom. Yeah, pretty straightforward stuff, as long as you're just keeping track of Bonnie's knocks and whether Foxy is scraped or not. Freddy and Chica, you just have to listen for the sound cues. Generally not too much strategy there. Yeah, here's the living room now. And I think for the living room I do something considerably different than what you might see other YouTubers do. Or, well, YouTubers and or speedrunners. I know there's varying strats you can do for this level. This is kind of my way I do it. It might not be the most efficient out there, but I find it's the at least safest for me anyway. And it revolves here, as you can obviously tell, around just hard pausing Foxy right out the gate. And what that'll do is that'll give Freddy time to get to your door, and then it'll give you like a 10 to 15 second buffer between when Freddy leaves and when Foxy enters. And so it gives you a little bit of time to check to see where Bonnie is, kind of see if Foxy's maybe a little too close or a little too far from where you want him, and kind of adjust that accordingly. So Freddy will be coming here there. Yeah, so Foxy's right around this point now, and it'll be about 15 seconds or so before it gets to my door. It gives me plenty of time to just kind of keep an eye on Foxy. Just make sure he's not too close. And you just see here, a bit later on, it'll give me time to make sure I know exactly where Bonnie is, if I do lose track of that. So there's Foxy. And yeah, it might have been, a little over 20 seconds actually. Maybe I was wrong about it being 15 seconds, but yeah, it gives you plenty of buffer room to kind of do those checks. And then, yeah, here's the point. Probably heard that. Kind of that low kind of moaning sound. So that's Bonnie's sound cue. And that's why I named my split 4 for Bonnie. It's because Bonnie's sound cue will play 4 times before he gets to your door. I think it says that if you die to him, like, I think the game gives you that tip if you die to Bonnie. Yeah, there's another one. And so I keep track of this. Well, you want to keep track of this. You can look at the door hole too to kind of tell as well, but I like to keep track of it in my head, just so I don't have to waste that time checking the door. So I know it's on 2 already, which means it's 2 more sound cues until it gets to your door. But yeah, kind of keeping Foxy. Oh, we would have missed where I want Foxy to be. Next time, yeah. After Foxy leaves here, I'll kind of try and point out where you kind of want Foxy to be. To kind of do what I do here. Like there's a certain area I kind of want to try and keep Foxy at. So I know Bonnie's on 3 sound cues now, and there's a 4th one, so I know I have to go hide from him. Alright, just as long as you're on either side of the double doors there, it's fine. I like to kind of keep on, now it's just a personal thing, but I like to keep on whatever side of, whichever of Freddy and Fox is going to get to my door first. So if Freddy's getting there first, I go to Freddy's side door. And yeah, here. So you see this picture on the left hand side here. I'm waving my mouse towards it. You might have just seen it there on Foxy, but I like to keep Foxy around there when Freddy gets to the room. And that gives me that 20-second or so buffer. Since Foxy's generally getting to around this drawer at the time you get back to the camera, it gives you ample time to, yeah, check for Bonnie if you lose track of his sound cues or anything else. So there's, yeah, that's number 1 for Bonnie. The thing I kind of do as well, I mean, I keep track of it in my head, of course, but I also kind of like to keep track of it on my left hand. Like, obviously that's going to be what I use for WASD, but like if I'm just holding the W, or if I'm just sitting here or whatever, I kind of just keep one finger over the W button and then just kind of have like a counter, so like be like this kind of. I don't know if you can really see that or not, but that's just something I do. You don't have to do that, of course, but I don't know, it just makes it a tiny bit easier to keep track of for me personally. So yeah, there's a 3rd one for Bonnie. And yeah, really, as long as you can keep track of Bonnie's count, or Bonnie's sound cue count, then the rest is pretty straightforward. You do start to get into the territory now where Chica's sound cue will start playing. So you just want to make sure you can deal with that accordingly. So there's a 4th Bonnie sound cue. And that's one nice thing about Bonnie, is that he'll never enter the room at the same time as Freddy or Foxy. Obviously Freddy and Foxy can appear at the same time, and if that happens you're dead. But the nice thing is that, like say, Bonnie and Foxy can never be in the room at the same time, or Bonnie and Freddy. It just can't happen. So you can kind of be able to gauge which one will get to your room first, and then kind of be able to tell which way or where you have to be accordingly. So you hear her Chica's sound cue there. It's pretty easy to deal with Chica. Like as soon as you hear her sound cue, just stand up and then just stay still for like a second or 2 until the sound goes away. Generally generally as long as you're doing that, you only hear it for like 2 seconds at max. It is, yeah, pretty easy to deal with. It is kind of annoying that it disrupts your pausing, but generally as long as you have them in those spots you want to have them, then generally isn't too much of a problem to pause it momentarily. Or should I say pause your pausing momentarily. But yeah, I know there's one sound cue there from Bonnie, so I know there's 3 more. And yeah, that's the thing you have to keep track of there. It's just Bonnie sound cues. And if you do lose track, this method does let you check the front door, or the double doors for Bonnie. It does give you that buffer room to check that. I think there was one point at 5 a.m. here where I did lose track, and so I had to check the door. As you'll see here a bit later on. But yeah. And sometimes at 5 a.m. it can be hard to hear the sound cues as well. So it is always good to have that leeway to check the double doors in case you think you missed one or think you heard one. Some of them are kind of low, so you might think, oh yeah, this is one, but you're not entirely sure if it's one or not. Yeah, generally they're pretty easy to hear up until 5 a.m. So generally it's not too much of a worry, but 5 a.m. it is good to kind of have those front check or double door checks kind of once in every so often, just to be safe. So yeah, not too much to say here, just Freddy there. Foxy's a little bit far back from where I want him, but I think generally as the night goes on you do kind of want him a little bit further back each time, just because he does start to get faster. So yeah, there's one for Bonnie. And there's another thing with Chica too, you might have noticed that. Even though Foxy was close, I was standing still for a second there. And the reason for that is you have to stand completely still whenever you hear Chica's sound cue. Otherwise, you will get jump scared and stunned by her. I'm pretty sure looking around does the same thing. But yeah, if you're moving while you hear Chica's sound cue, you're getting jump scared and stunned by Chica. And it probably will lead to your death, so you just want to make sure you're standing up and staying completely still. Even if they're getting close. And yeah, generally you only have to stay still for a second or maybe 2 at most. So yeah, there was, I believe it was the second one for Bonnie. And I think here's where I go check the door if I remember correctly. Oh no, that was the third one. Because I think after this I go check the door. Because I think I'd lost track at this point. No, I sit on the couch, okay. So that... Oh yeah, I go check the door here. So yeah, it's the third one from Bonnie. And there are different... Yeah, so Bonnie... So you just saw his arm there. And so there are different, I guess, positions Bonnie will be in for each number of sound cues he's had. So like for 1, he'll be far down the hall, 2, he'll start to get closer, 3 is just his arm. And then the 4th one, the one you don't want to see, is his eye looking through the keyhole back at you. So there's living room complete. So yeah, the big thing for living room is just making sure you keep track of where Bonnie is. Because as long as you keep that kind of Freddy Foxy benchmark, it's pretty simple to deal with them. And of course Chica doesn't do a whole lot, you just have to stay still for a second or 2. So yeah, the main thing is keeping track of Bonnie. And yeah, here for Office, there's really not a whole lot for Office either. Obviously you have to flash Freddy a certain amount of times. Sorry for that. Oh yeah, I was explaining the clock there. Didn't hear it on the mic, but I was explaining that clock. So, basically for Freddy, there's a certain amount of times you have to flash Freddy there. Like through the door or curtain. And where the minute hand is positioned determines how many times you've flashed Freddy. So as you could see there before it was at the 2, which means I flashed him 1 time. And you'll see here when I go sit down that it'll be at the 3 now. The minute hand will be at the 3. So yeah, you can see the minute hand's at the 3 now. And basically, as long as the minute hand's at the 12 by the time the night ends, you're good. You're done with Freddy. But you do have to get Freddy. It's 11 times. So the way you can tell how many times you flashed him, look at where the minute hand is and just subtract 1. So it's at the 3 right now. So I subtract 1 and I flash Freddy 2 times. And that reflects what I've actually done. So yeah, at first there, from 12 till 1, it's just Freddy and Foxy. Obviously, you hear knocking, you put Foxy into your cameras. Make sure you hold it until Foxy does a little sound cue and goes away. But now at 1 AM here, Chica's cupcakes start appearing. There's going to be 3 cupcakes every time. There's 4 spots in the office that the cupcakes would be, and then the 3 spots outside the doors. So as long as you're just checking for those, you're fine. So, yeah, again, so 4 spots in the office, 3 outside the doors, and there's 3 cupcakes every time. And the sound cue gets progressively louder the closer you are. And so here I'm just waiting for Foxy. You can see the minute hand's at 4 now, which reflects that I flashed Freddy 3 times. And so I only need 8 more. Anyway, here's the thing I like to do. So as soon as Foxy goes away, I check every door / curtain. I'm just gonna call the curtain a doorway from now on. I don't feel like saying door / curtain every time. I'm just gonna call it doors. But yeah, once Foxy's gone, check every doorway, see if Freddy's there. You might even be able to get away with doing double checks, depending on what time of night it is. Like if it's early on in the night, you'll definitely have that leeway to check twice for each door. But later on, Foxy might be appearing a bit quicker, so you might not have that time. And then eventually Foxy starts to appear on multiple cameras, so even if you think you can get away with checking twice, it's probably not the safest bet because there might be that 2 out of 3 chance that Foxy will be there. And yeah, animatronic gets added with each of those, I guess, phone calls. No, voicemails, I should say. I don't know if that's not really a phone call. But yeah, the one at 1 AM adds Chica into it. The one sometime at 2 AM there adds Bonnie. I don't know if Bonnie actually appears until 3 AM, but that phone call kind of indicates that Bonnie's starting to appear. But yeah, it's generally the same thing. Making sure Foxy's gone. Yeah, your number 1 priority is dealing with Foxy, for sure. Like if you have Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy all there, then you definitely want to deal with Foxy first. Because Foxy's definitely the main one that can kill you. Also, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that was just frames in the video that went down there, like in this recording. I do apologize for that. But yeah, now that Foxy's dealt with, I can deal with Chica here and look for Freddy at the same time. I got kind of lucky having Freddy on the right hand side there. Another thing, once Bonnie starts appearing, you kind of want to... You don't have to keep track of where he is, but it's always a nice thing to know where he is. So even if you've gotten Freddy already and Foxy's a ways away from knocking, then it might be good to just check those doors and see if you can see where Bonnie might be. Because then you know not to point your camera towards him. Because if you point your camera towards Bonnie, that camera's gone. And you're not getting it back for the rest of the run. Yeah, Fox is gone. Can deal with Freddy here and Chica at the same time. Which is very nice. And I'm just kind of waiting for Foxy. You can kind of get away with that, just the waiting game of waiting for Foxy. Obviously you want to make sure you're getting the right amount of Freddy flashes. And I still need 2 more, as you can tell from the clock there. But I mean, it's only 4 AM at this point, and it's pretty early into 4 AM, so like I've got plenty of time to get Freddy here. And there I've got him again, so I only need him 1 more time. And you could see, you could just see Bonnie's arm there leaving, which means he was at the left side camera and now he's over here on the right hand side. So obviously I don't want to point my right side camera towards him. Now there's Foxy. And yeah, for Foxy, generally as long as you have, I'd say, adequate enough headphones, you'll be able to tell which direction Foxy is. Even when he has multiple cameras, you can still pretty much tell which 2 he's at. For those that might just be wearing like $10 earbuds or whatever it is probably safe to just check every camera. I like to do that. That's why I call the split check all cams, because I like to be safe. I just check every camera anyway, just in case, you know, the game bugs or something and Foxy's at every doorway. But generally he can only be at up to 2 at one time. So yeah, unless you know for sure which doorways Foxy's at, it's good to just check every camera. Yeah, there's the... And so the reason I'm going back through the doors here, I didn't have to do this, but for some reason I thought in my mind that I needed at least 1 Freddy flash at 5 AM. But after going through, I realized since the minute hand's already at the 12, Freddy's not going to be appearing anymore since I've dealt with him already. So now it's just a matter of survival. But sometimes, yeah, if you don't have enough flashes before 5 AM, you will have to keep looking at the doorways to try and flash him. But yeah, since I have enough here, he won't be appearing anymore. And I realized that afterwards. I mean, yeah. But yeah, just dealing with Chupi here. I know Foxy's probably going to be knocking pretty soon, but I'm still looking for Freddy here. Just because I wasn't 100% sure, like I said. But yeah, there's the knocking. And there's Office. So yeah, not terribly hard, I'd say. I'd say its living room is slightly harder than the Office. But now here's where the run really begins, in the basement. Because obviously the first 3 levels there are all timed ones, kind of like the original FNAF games. But this one, you can actually do different strats with. Like it's not timed. So there's some cool things you can do here in basement. And I even, like in this video, I actually have some outdated strats. So I'm going to be implementing, well, I'll say new ones for me, because after I did this run, I watched the Basement IL World Record, and it was the 05 and 04 strats here specifically that lost me a lot of time. So this strat I did here, I'm not going to be doing this anymore, but I do hat first. So that spawns that endo in right away. As soon as you pick up the hat, that's when the endo spawns in. He won't be there until you pick up the hat. But the problem with this strat is I have to go all the way up the stairs and back. Whereas if you deal with the guitar and hook first, you don't have to worry about the endo A, and then B, you can just literally just keep the endo there while putting the different what are they called, objects into the furnace. So yeah, strat I do here, yeah, a bit slow, but generally, yeah, it deals with hat first, going up the staircase and back, and then not having to really go that way anymore. But yeah, the quicker strat here is dealing with this pirate hook first, as you're going towards the room, and then guitar next, and then hat, going back for the hat. And that saves about 15 seconds to what I did there. I mean, this strat works just fine. It's maybe a little bit safer, but yeah, it does lose a significant amount of time. And then this strat as well. This is a much safer strat, of course, what I do here, but it actually loses a significant amount of time. Like about 17 seconds, actually. So obviously there's going to be one endo here, one of the guys that move as you look away. So my strat here is to bring him into this room, and then kind of skirt around him with just enough room. But I learned that you can actually keep him at his spawn point, which is just on that right-hand wall there, like to the right of the door there. And then you can actually just sneak by him literally as the door is opening. Like you can just keep looking at him and he'll just stay there, and then you can just slip by him really easily. And this key grab was a little bit slow as well. I wanted to be safe there, but it actually does lose about 17 seconds to the world record strat. And yeah, there's nothing much to say about this. Oh, another thing for the 04, that's why I call the split what I did, is because those are the codes for each door. So the first code being 9632, then the second one being 2541, and that'll be the code every time. So you don't have to worry about it changing or anything. So yeah, here I'm just holding W for about a minute. Nothing too much going on here. While this is going on, how's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, staying healthy, all that stuff. Yeah, I want to know how you guys had, like, what your experiences were like with story mode the first time you guys played through it. If you did play through it, that is. So let me know in the comments. I'm curious to kind of know how you guys had, or what kind of experiences you guys had with this game during your first playthroughs. I know for my first playthrough personally, I took about an hour on, well, each of the first 4 levels, and then for the attic I took about 4 hours to finally beat it. But yeah, it took me a long time to beat each of these levels just once. And now I can just do it pretty much no problem. But yeah, it was fun to learn. It was a lot of fun to learn. Kind of figure out how each level worked. And it's really good gameplay. So I definitely recommend it to anyone who hasn't played it. But yeah, for those who have, you can probably resonate with that. But yeah, this O2 strat here. So instead of bringing the endos in the room this time, I'm going to be keeping them right outside the gate there. Kind of group both of them together, and then I start to leave. And I'm constantly keeping them in my sight. I don't want them to get anywhere near me. I want them as far away as possible before I press this button on the other side here. So I'm just going backwards, keep looking at them, look away to press the button, and that's it. I keep them in my sights. And what I'm going to do here, there is a slightly better strat, but my safe strat here, it's not the most safe honestly, but it's safer than what record does. So I let him go, I skirt around him, and yeah, I thought I was dead there. I thought I was dead there for sure. Because I guess if you're not looking at his face, or at the endo's faces, is when they move. So I guess since I didn't technically have the endo's face in my camera, he started to move. See, a little bit tense there, but I survived somehow. So yeah, it's a pretty simple strat. Just as long as those two endos are at the other side of the room when you're trying to skirt around the last endo, you won't have a problem with those two sneaking up behind you and jump scaring you. And yeah, there's basement. So I'm literally just getting back to the staircase, and then you're into attic. So attic, there is a lot going on, but I'm going to try to explain everything as best I can. Maybe I'll just start working my way down. So creation is the big guy that starts in basement, and he moves really slow. So as long as you kind of keep him where you want him, really. Like, obviously you want to try and keep him in his basement as long as you can, but that's really not possible. So as long as he's not like completely up to office right away, then you're generally pretty fine. And obviously, flashing Golden Freddy is your main priority. You need to flash him 12 times to beat attic. So obviously that's going to be your top priority, and trying to do it as fast as you can since this is a speed run. And now for these endos. So the running endos, you'll be hearing from a long way away. And the thing about the endos, so there's a lot going on with the endos. So there's the ones that run up to your office, and then there's the ones that appear stationary in the cameras. So only one endo can come to your door at a time. And yeah, obviously there's one endo on each end of the camera, one stationary one running one for each door, which means 4 in total. By the way, I'm getting really lucky with Golden Freddy here. Generally I'm not this lucky, but I did get pretty lucky here with Golden Freddy in this. But yeah, as I was saying, it is inverted. It's kind of weird. So that door that's on your right hand side there, as you'll see here, so the door that's closed there on the right hand side actually pertains to the left side camera. So you kind of have to invert that in your head, kind of. But once you play through it a couple times, you'll start to make that correlation in your head. But yeah, what I like to do with the cameras, or I try to do as much as I can, is I try and keep those upper cameras on the threat that's going to appear next. So since that left stationary endo had just charged, I decided to just keep it on the left side camera for when that left side endo appears next, because it's pretty likely that he's going to be appearing first since he charged first. So here I wasn't 100% sure, but if that ever happens, a general rule of thumb to avoid situations like that is to keep your camera trained on the door that isn't closed. So for that situation there, I should have had the right camera on, because that was my door that wasn't closed. I should have had that, but I didn't, and so I almost got busted because of that. But generally, that's a good rule of thumb. If you're not sure which one appeared first, so here, since my left door isn't closed, I keep my camera on that left door, or that left camera, I mean. But I hear a running endo anyway, so I know I have some leeway before the stationary endos attack. So that's just clinical right there. The running endo charges, and then I look at the upper cameras to see which stationary endo is charging first. Yeah, there's a good amount of strategy with those endos, though. If you're not careful, then they can really sneak up on you. So there's one of the running endos, and now I check the cameras, and I see the left one's coming first. That's the door that's already closed. Now I close the other one, so the other endo is going to be charging here. Yeah, there he is. And yeah, another thing with the endos is, like, as soon as one charges, pretty much just close the other one right away if you can, because it's pretty likely that the other side endo is going to be charging you first. But I could go on about endo strategies for a long time. But yeah, there's the 12th Golden Freddy Flash, and my 4235 is complete. So now it's just a matter of getting the run verified. I'm not sure how long that's going to take, but yeah, I'll be sure to post something once that does get verified. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of different style video. If you guys want to see more commentary in the future for breaking down my different speedrun tips and strats and all that stuff, make sure to say so in the comments, and yeah, I'll definitely make sure to make more of this kind of content if it's wanted. Otherwise, I'll just be doing my regular full speedrun videos, kind of just, yeah, all that good stuff. But yeah, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.